Welcome back. This is Education Talk, and we're now talking about child prodigies. Now we have a real-life testimony in our studios of Sarah Nwisi. Sarah, you're very welcome to our studios.
Yes.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
I'm just going to be asking you a few questions now. You passed GCSE Maths at just the age of 8 with a grade C, and you're now 9 years old, and you've had 2 offers into 2 top secondary schools in the country. Now, how were you able to do this?
Well, my dad helped me at home, and I used a lot of things on the internet to help me. And
That's great. You use a lot of things on the internet. You know, that tells us the importance of teaching our kids early how to use online materials on their internet. And not only that, it also talks about the role of the parent. She said her dad helped her at home. Dr. Chris, can you highlight on the role of the parent in actually helping their kids understand what they've learned at school?
If you make learning a home activity, so you don't just tell the child, go and read, and then you pick up the remote and watch television or watch movies, but you participate in it. That means when you're doing something right now, you're doing some reading, I'm also reading. And at the end of it, we can review the books we've read, if that was the activity. Or if it's a number game, we can play one game against the other, and they understand that maths is a game. So if you play against me now, like, you know, you are doing a times table thing with Paula, yes? Now, you play the 9 times table thing, where you do your fingers up, lie away. So it becomes a group activity. It is not a punishment. Because if you tell a child, go and read, and then you go and pick on the television and start watching, what you are really saying is that I'm punishing you. Reading is punishment. But if you say, go and read because I read chapter 7 of the so and so book, and she said, oh no, I saw about chapter 5, let me go and read. And at the end you say, okay, come and discuss what did you find in that book. And then I share with you what I found in my book. Would you know what that becomes? It becomes a communal activity. And any person in that environment will want to be part of the show, will want to be part of the game of reading books. So if you play numbers, and then you understand Monopoly from playing Monopoly, if you understand the game of life, you understand the game of logic, you find out that, listen, sometimes you will win, other times you will lose. So that builds into you the capability to be able to deal with making errors and mistakes in life.
That's quite interesting. So, Sarah, is maths a difficult subject to you?
oh no, it's really
not.
easy.
It's really easy.
Yeah.
Why do you say that, even though you came out with a C grade in GCSE?
I see maths as a game.
You
like
see, yeah, go on.
9 times tables. When I first learned it, I'd put my hands up like that, and then if I would do 1 times 9, I'd put down my first finger and I get 9. And then if I did 9 times 2, I put down my second finger and I get 18. That's we did 10s.
Wow.
That'd be the 8s.
I wish I learned that at our age. You know, I didn't learn maths that way. Quite interesting. So you learned maths as a game.
Yeah.
So your advice is for your colleagues and mates to actually see maths as a game. So maths is going to become very easy. Quite interesting. So did your teachers help you in this at all?
They helped me, but my dad helped me more.
Your dad helped you more, so we're still talking about the role of the parent.
Yeah, the role of the parent, because the father was very prudent. The mother and the father attended one of our events, and were able to pick up from what we were doing and what we were seeing and what they saw, that really there's a genius in every single child. Every single human being can achieve. For instance, anybody that has ever used popcorn will have found out that when you're making popcorn, if you've ever made popcorn, you realize this. You have multiple seeds, and then you put the seeds in the machine. You find out that each seed pops at a different time. Some of us think that to teach you need a PhD. No, you don't. You just need patience. So some seeds will pop up in a popcorn machine very early. Others will pop up later. The fact that one seed popped up later does not mean that it's inferior to the one that popped up earlier. In the school system, if we're going to take the analogy to the schools, if you pop up early in school with good grades, they say you're a genius. If you then have to wait for the concepts to be repeated to you before you get it, you're classified as a failure. And that's what really saddens me. That's one fundamental secret we must know, that the fact that you have 5 children are not going to all blossom at the same rate, at the same pace, at the same time. But the school system is dogmatically and ideologically wedded to the fact that age is the same thing as learning. So they say if you are 6 years old, you'll be in year 1. If you are 7 years old, you'll be year 2. If you don't learn it when you are 7, you're classified a failure. When really, some 7-year-olds will learn it quicker, others will learn it slower. So but you have to have the patience as the parent or as a teacher, because the only qualifications you need to teach is patience.
The only qualification you need to teach is patience, and not any other thing, not even a PhD.
You can have a PhD and don't have the patience. You will not have enough to know that if you taught her the first time she doesn't get it, you go back and play, and then you try the second time and the third time. I'll tell you this, I learned more from my grandmother than I learned from my parents. Because my grandmother had all the time in the world, because she's now retired,
To be patient
with you, encourage you, and we do that when children are walking. You take the first step and fall, you say, no, come on, it's the next time. So if we have patience, we can teach anything. Even if we don't have the body of knowledge, we can go and acquire it and then come back and deliver it.
Interestingly, every child is a genius. That's one of the things a lot of people have learned here today. Dr. Chris, thank you so much. But before we go, we have a question for you. How many cells does the brain have? This is a question you can actually send an email to educationtalk@loveltv.co.uk. How many million brain cells does the average human have? How many million brain cells does the average human have? That's an interesting question.
And the correct entry is, you get a prize?
Definitely, you have a prize, and it is a USB pen. Quite an interesting innovation. Sarah, thank you so much for coming onto our program, and we look forward to seeing you. And I encourage you to encourage your peers out here to do exactly what you did. Dr. Chris, thank you so much for coming on today.
Pleasure, thank you.
Viewers, remember it is Education Talk. Now remember, we're here every Friday to give you more information on education and things that parents don't even know about the school system. We give you all the information here. Do remember to join us next time and enjoy the rest of our programs.